While inflation has gone bananas and everything today costs a lot more than it used to last year or just a short few years back, I do find the value on this knife to be low. Yes, it's low. It's quite expensive for the materials and what you get. So on the plus side, really quickly, great design, super comfortable, tough, thick, yet it cuts well. Sharp out of the box, mid-range steel, good sheet system, relatively light for the strength. On the negatives, guys, this is a mid-range steel. Let's be real. I really like AUS 10. It performs well, but you could do S35, you could do M4, you could do a lot of interesting choices, right? K390. So there's a lot of, the world opens up when you increase the prices at $150 for mid-range and rubber, okay? And yet, check this out. I know for a fact that this type of handle will, if you rub it against hard surfaces or even cardboard, it'll lose its shape and you're gonna lose material. It just shaves off. And look at the way it's fitted into the tank. I mean, water will get in there. It will. Come on, for 150, you should be sealing that up a lot better, a lot better. Previous models that Mr. Demko has designed in the past. First, we have the Pocket Bushman, which is pocketable, but it's not a small knife by any means. It's almost 4.5 inches. That doesn't want to fold anymore because I have used it so much. It's a kitchen duty knife in the house. Faithful companion, very strong. I've loved it for many years. Then much more recently, we've had the 8010, which is a cold steel produced version of a Mr. Demko custom. I have a review out on the knife where I'm batoning it through some wood. People generally appreciated what I did in that video. And then we have the pretty new FREEREIGN. It's an exactly 5-inch knife. AUS-10A, which is a stainless, you want to call it, almost semi-stainless. It'll stain on you, it'll rust if you neglect it, but it's relatively stain resistant and rust resistant. AUS-10A, it's a Japanese steel that's known for being tough. Out of the whole AUS series of knives, which includes the AUS-6 knives, such as this one from Kershaw, retired model, 1015, Japanese made, okay? Then we have AUS-8 knives, which are very, well known across the world because Spyderco popularized a lot of them, also cold steel. The knife is made in Taiwan, but the steel is Japanese, okay? So we have an almost 5-inch handle, it's actually 4.875, okay? The cutting edge is 4.625, the blade length is exactly 5 inches, and the thickness is 0.187. Continuing with the comparisons, I wanted to bring the venerable BK16 from Mr. Becker, produced by Caber. Gives you a size indication here. Bowie from Mr. Bradley. MK2 from LT Wright, just short of 5 inches. So the knife is made to work, guys. It's made to work. It's fairly strong for the size. The knife alone is 7.38. 7.38 on my scale, okay? So the sheath alone would then be almost 392. We have a thickness of 0.18. Right behind the edge, let's see what thickness we're talking about here. 0.02. Right at the shoulder, okay? And if we get close to, so it increases throughout the tank. For example, right here is 0.03, and then closer to the tip is quite thick, as expected. We're looking at 0.04 inches, all right? So this area here is pretty slick. It's pretty slick. So the rest of the handle has plenty of traction, but you would benefit from a similar traction here, perhaps some jimping on the rubber material. So this is where it probably matters the most, okay? Other than your choil being secure here, you're slipping. My hands are particularly oily at the moment and my thumb is slipping out.
Couple of closing comments on the design prior to taking it outside for some woodworking. I wanted to mention that it has a pommel, so it's a full-tank design that runs through the rubber handle, and it exposes a perhaps 2.5 millimeters of tank here, so you can use it for various purposes. I leave it up to your imagination, but it's good to have something to strike in the back of your handle as opposed to just plain rubber. Okay, I do like that feature. The sheath is an innovative piece, so Mr. Demko seems to have spent time thinking about defects of sheaths and how they influence and affect your edge as you draw the knife in and out. So this is a softer nylon, okay, with a frame made out of glass reinforced nylon. So I'm not an expert on either of those materials, but this feels a lot softer than the one on the outside. Okay, the drainage, I'm assuming there's a drainage on the black nylon piece. I'll have to take it apart to see. As you can see, you can disassemble it and inspect it yourself, but let me show you how it carries and how it is secure. Although I would definitely prefer a more subdued color, like a green, like a forest green, OD, or just pure black all over. You could get a gray color handle and a gray color sheath. I went with blue for the pop. I do appreciate the bright blue. I think it's going to be interesting to have such a standout knife. So it slides in if we leave gravity to do its thing. So there is some friction inside the nylon, and then we have two tabs here inside that will add the final securing elements. It will not come out. What you hear shaking are the straps here. Almost zero rattle. It feels very secure, guys. So the belt loop is wide enough for all kinds of belts. It has a Velcro and a snap, so you're pretty secure there. So I think it serves the knife well. It's well matched to the design. Let's perform some very basic cuts. Unfortunately, I don't have much time today to spend batoning or doing anything extensive with it. So I'm just gonna try to carve a little bit, and then I'll attempt to feather. Slicing paper with the edge was a pleasure. I have to say 9.5, 9 out of 10. No complaints on the edge, out of the box. Cutting this hardwood piece here, it's doing well. The handle feels comfy. There's not contouring, so it could perhaps benefit from some contouring on the handle. It feels good. Capable of giving you some fine curls. Yes. And does it scrape? Barely any scraping capabilities. The spine is not sharp.